The preliminary round of the AFCON 2023 draw was held today in Douala. We now know the 12 teams that will be partaking, who they will be facing, and who will be joining the other 42 nations for the group stages of the AFCON qualifiers, which will be taking place later this year. You remember, there are 54 nations in Africa. 12 of the lowest ranked teams will take part in the preliminary stages. They'll play each other, and that was the draw that was held today. We now know the teams. We're going through the draw results that was held, and we'll also be talking about the Ghana Black Stars. Coach Milovan Rajabak. Today, a crunch meeting was held between the Ghana Football Association and then the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and no consensus has been reached yet. Decision has not been made yet, but some talking points from that meeting have been made public, and we'll be discussing that here today. As usual, subscribe if you have not. Click on the notification bell to get more updates. First of all, we'll start off with a draw of the AFCON 2023. Ivory Coast are the hosts of next year's African Cup of Nations. Yes, another AFCON next year, because this year's one was supposed to be held in 2021. But the good news is that 2023 edition will be held in June, July, in the off season. So no issues with club commitment, players having to choose between whether to play for their country or their clubs. That's a great thing about it. Now, there are 54 nations in Africa. 12 of them, lowest ranked teams, 12 of them are going to take part in this preliminary stages. They'll play each other in a two-legged game, home and away. The 6 remaining teams will join the other 42. They'll be placed into groups, and 24 of the remaining teams will take part in the final of the African Cup of Nations. So 42, 6 will join them to make 48, and then that 48 will be placed in groups that will be played in the group stages of the African Cup of Nations, and the best 24 will represent in the African Cup of Nations 2023. As the draw was held, these are the draw results. Eritrea will be taking on Botswana. Sao Tome and Principe will be taking on Mauritius. Djibouti will take on South Sudan. Seychelles will take on Lesotho. Somalia will take on Eswatini. And Chad will take on the Gambia, who are currently in the round of 16 of their maiden edition of the African Cup of Nations, doing themselves so proud. I'm sure their ranking will be higher, and probably they will not have to take part in this preliminary stages again in African Cup of Nations qualifiers. The fixtures will take place between 21st and 29th of March, the same time the World Cup playoffs will be held. The World Cup playoffs draw, as a matter of fact, will be held tomorrow in Douala, the same venue as this one was held. We'll know which countries will be facing each other for the chance to be one of the 5 nations that are representing Africa in World Cup 2022 Qatar 2022. We'll see about that. We'll see what happens on that front. On to the issue of Coach Milovan Rajabak and the Ghana Black Stars. Today, a crunch meeting was held. After the disappointment in the African Cup of Nations, the Ministry of Youth and Sports summoned the Ghana Football Association and its executives to talk about the future of Coach Milovan Rajabak. And it is quite clear, Coach Milovan cannot afford to resign himself, because in the contract that he has with the FA, he has to pay off the FA $200,000 should he decide to resign on his own. If it is a unilateral or an agreement, mutual termination of contract by mutual agreement, settlement will be have to reach. If the FA end his contract, they will have to also pay him off. Now, it's quite clear that the FA president is sticking with Milo. He's in support of sticking with Milovan Rajabak. But the Ministry of Youth and Sports 100% behind the sacking of Milovan Rajabak. But yet, the Ministry of Youth and Sports are the ones that pay the coach. Who is going to badge? Results have not come out yet on what the FA and the Ministry of Youth and Sports have agreed in this crunch meeting. But Coach Milovan Rajabak has been told to present his report of the African Cup of Nations and probably explain why the Black Stars were abysmal in this year's tournament. He will also present this report, and I'm sure based on that, probably a decision will be made. But right now, the Ministry of Youth and Sports wants Milo out. FA are sticking with him from the interview that was granted by Kurt Okreku, the GFA president, and then also they are the ones that pay them. The Ministry of Youth and Sports are the ones that pay the coach. It's quite interesting what will happen here. FIFA also stand on government interference in football activities, and that could lead to elimination from tournaments. It's a whole matter altogether, and the resolution hopefully will be reached sooner rather than later, so we'll know how to move forward with our football here in the country. Ghana have been disappointed in recent weeks, and it has not been great. Thomas Partey has apologized. Finally, players have come out to apologize. Partey having played 15 minutes for Arsenal last night, just 48 hours after playing for the Ghana Black Stars here in Cameroon. There were a lot of people bashing him for rushing to play for Arsenal. He got a red card in that game, and he issued an apology for his people questioning his commitment and his red card and everything. Well, we know where his commitment lies now, but that is it there on the front of Coach Milovan Rajabak and the Black Stars. And no decision has been reached yet. He has been asked to bring a report on the African Cup of Nations. Coach Milo will do that. FA are behind him. It's obvious from Kurt Okreku's interviews. Ministry want him out. Who will win? Interference has been made clear. FIFA's stance on government interference as well. So the government cannot go behind the FA's back and sack him. What will happen? We'll be following this closely and bring you updates. But let me know what you think will happen in the comments box, and which 6 teams will join the other 42 in the group stages of the AFCON 2023 qualifiers. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of the week.
Somalia, the Ocean Stars have never qualified to the AFCON. Let's see, their first participation in the qualifiers was in 1970, and they'll be playing against one of the 2 teams. Let's see if it's going to be Eswatini or the Gambia.
Eswatini.
Eswatini. Eswatini, they've been participating in the qualifiers.